So something that you'll see quite a lot in Bhutan, particularly in shop windows, but also in people's houses, are these effigies of penises and testicles, which represent fertility, and has quite a spiritual meaning here over in Bhutan. So it would not be unusual to find a penis in a shop. So here we have some more examples of the penises for fertility, all different shapes and sizes, which I'm reliably informed, but have no experience in myself, is pretty much how it represents in real life. Although I have to say, maybe not with a big face on the side. Look at this beautiful shop. So many amazing things for sale.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so I am now in a little park in the centre of Paro town, which is unbelievably ornate and decorative. And as mentioned previously, you need to make sure when building buildings here in Bhutan that they are in style and keeping with the traditional architecture, which I think is a fantastic idea because they don't want their culture to be eroded. But as I walk around here, I'm now going towards the prayer wheel. And the idea is that you would walk around this clockwise, so this way around. And in Bhutan, typically you will find that people will do 108 revolutions of this particular prayer wheel, or they will do an odd number, and this is their way of showing their faith and worship to God. It looks like the rain is about to roll in. So up here on the wall we have a young child monk with a gun, and there you go, pointing his gun out and firing it. So I think perhaps I've just come across the name of the next Hollywood blockbuster, Monks and Guns. Good. Is this your gun?
Yes.
Nice. Okay, cool. Nice to meet you. So here now in Paro town. Beautiful architecture. Quite a small town and not particularly busy. And in the distance there is the Paro Fortress, which we'll be going in later. So we've driven about 5-10 minutes from Paro to get this beautiful view over Paro itself, which sits here in this beautiful valley. And we drove all the way along this road here and around. Hello, friends. So this fortress in Paro was built in 1645 and is the 4th fortress that was built in Bhutan. And today there are some rituals taking place to ward off evil spirits. So here on this wall we have the 4 gods of direction. Here we have the god of the east, who is playing the lute, and he never speaks because he has poison in his mouth. Here we have the god of the west, who is holding the stupa, and he never looks away from the stupa because in his eyes he has poison. Here we have the god of the south, who never lets go of his dragon. And also here we have the god of the north holding a mongoose, and he is the god of wealth, so people who want to become wealthy will pray to that. This here is the wheel of life held by the god of death, or the wrathful god of wisdom. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're inside the fortress, having a look around, and many people are in traditional dress. Beautiful structure. So inside the fortress now here, and I just learned that in the construction here, first of all, the construction in other buildings around Bhutan, they have to represent this architecture, but also the building in Bhutan is not using nails, so they use an interlocking system with the wood, which you can see up here in the top of the fortress there, but beautifully decorated. And here is the central tower of the fort, which goes very, very high, right the way up there. There are a number of candles burning, all representing prayers, and they sit outside here in the courtyard, just outside the main fort.
That's how sunny, it's raining.
Sunny over there, raining over here. That's what you get with being a mountainous country. What is the name of this river that runs all the way through?
The Pachu River.
Pachu. Pachu River.
The name of the river is derived from the name of the district. Paro district, Pachu River.
Pachu River.
Chu means water.
Ah, Pachu. And then this is Paro City here. And this is all within the fortress that we're stood inside. Well, I have definitely brought the UK weather with me. In 10 minutes, when we walked in and it was beautiful sunshine, it is now absolutely throwing it down. But however, in the central courtyard here at Paro Fortress, people are giving money, flowers, spices, etc. as an offering to their gods and as a way to wash away their sins, although quite literally we're being washed away as I speak. People huddling under this tent here to have some nice cup of tea. But we can see just how wet and rainy it's become. However, I have to say, even though the weather's terrible, I'm having an absolutely fantastic time. So then, after an absolutely fantastic morning, having a look around Paro and that beautiful fortress, we've now come to a traditional Bhutanese restaurant just on the outside of Paro itself, where we're going to sit together and have a nice Bhutanese food. There's the runway of the famous Paro Airport. Here they come. Royal Bhutan Airlines flight from Kolkata, landing into the famous Paro International Airport, one of the top 10 most dangerous landings in the world, given that they need to fly through the mountains, as you can see here. On final approach, absolutely buttered the landing. Alright, so we've just stopped about 20 minutes outside of Paro on our way to Thimphu, which is down here. But we've stopped here specifically because you've got the convergence of two rivers, which then move down here under this bridge into a different district. But we have the Wanshu River coming here, the Pashu River coming here, and then this all moves into what is known as the Danshu. And we're going to take a little bit of a walk over that bridge in just a moment. But I don't know if you can see on the video, there are a lot of dragonflies down here enjoying the ride on the air by the water. As we cross the bridge here, you can see these different prayer flags here, offering prayer. And in the distance there we have the different stupas here. And the rivers converging and going under the bridge here, across and down through the valley in the distance there. So just learning about the different prayer flags here, and on the flags themselves they have some writing, but you have a green flag which represents nature, you have a red flag which represents fire, you have a white flag that represents the earth, a blue flag that represents water, and then the yellow flag, it's just evaded me, so apologies for that. But the different coloured flags represent different elements of the earth, and the idea is that each of the flags has a particular scripture or text on it, and as the wind captures it, as you can just see here, it blows those positive messages around the country. And so when you see many of these different flags, the idea is that they will be blowing positive words and prayers around the country. Beautiful painting on the wall here of the present king and the present queen of Bhutan. Here we have a beautiful gate, a decorative gate here, which marks the boundary of different districts. So if you were to go through the gate and back across the bridge where we've just come, you would go into the district of Paro, where we were yesterday, and now this car that's just come through and is heading towards me is heading into the district of Thimphu, which follows down this road here, as you can see on the sign. So here we've got the Bhutan tourism badge, with including the blue poppy, and at the bottom the slogan saying happiness is a place, which of course is quite important because Bhutan is one of the very few countries in the world that actually measures its success based on the happiness of its population, so a gross happiness index, as opposed to many of the Western cultures where it's all about gross domestic product and how productive we are as a society. Here they believe that the society need to be happy before they can then run families and be productive, which I think is fantastic. Just here we can see the confluence of the rivers. This particular part of the river, the Wangchu, comes directly from Thimphu. It meets the part of the river which you can see there straight ahead that comes from Paro, where we were previously, and then all comes together in the Damshu, which goes under the bridge that we were just on. So we've just arrived in Thimphu, and the first thing is to visit. We've come all the way up the hill here to see the Big Buddha, which you can see is right in the clouds on top of the hill, and I'll show you the view in just a moment. Incredible panoramic view from up here. The Big Buddha statue sits at 2,600 meters above sea level here in the foothills of the Himalayas. Let's go and have a look inside. All right, so I've just been for a walk around inside the Big Buddha statue here. However, I wasn't allowed to film purely out of respect for people who are actually praying and meditating inside the structure. But the Big Buddha that you can see here is 2,600 meters above sea level and sits at 61.5 meters high, and was constructed from around the late 2000s until its finalization in 2015 at a total cost of around 100 million US dollars. And there were contributions made by different countries surrounding Bhutan to this particular monument, but it sits high and proud here in the Himalayas. And in just a moment I'll show you the view back down to Thimphu, the capital of Bhutan, in just a moment. So you can probably see from the actual structure itself, you know, it's made of bronze, but then painted in gold, and all of the goddesses as well that surround it, and the gates here have been painted with gold. Inside it is incredibly decorative and ornate, as you would expect, all in gold, with lots of people, actually probably 100 people in there at the moment meditating and chanting and praying, so hence the reason for no video from within the temple itself. But an absolutely beautiful building, and I will try to find a picture that I can put just after this video for you to look at. So you may be able to hear the insects making their noise, but there is a view from the Big Buddha up here on top of the mountain right the way back down to Thimphu. And if I just pan around slightly, you can see that Thimphu stretches through the valley, and actually further to the right beyond the gate that you can see here on the right hand side, Thimphu wraps around and is sort of in a bit of a J shape, I suppose you would say, from down there right in the depths of the valley right the way around, and if I just bring you back through the fence right the way around here, But there is the wonderful Buddha who sits proud atop the mountain, looking out and protecting those based in Thimphu and the wider Bhutan.